Never going to be good at that. It's just something.
It's really awkward.
Well, I'm just not strong enough to lift up the growler with one arm when it's full.
Well, maybe we need to reconsider our table arrangement.
That's mine. Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Okay.
All right. Allison, okay?
Hit me.
All right. Here we go.
We just need a different design of the growler. Like the
We talked about this at a party last night. Why is the handle so tiny? Growler people, can you get back to us, please?
All right. So, Julie?
Yeah.
I said, what do you want to do for a bit? And you changed the subject. So, you're up!
Oh. I don't have anything. I truly don't have anything. I've been actually feeling this the last couple of weeks, you guys. I'm going to get real with you. My bit is going to be me getting real. I've been depressed, and I feel like maybe I'm not funny anymore.
Not true.
Not true.
This is the second episode we're recording this evening, and I spent most of that last episode laughing about shit you said.
Great.
Also, you've got those Elaine Stritch glasses. It's just built in. So, all right. So, who's got two thumbs, speaks limited French, and thinks she's not funny anymore?
This moi.
Yeah! That was me doing, I did the arms too. That was me doing a Treyu on Falcor's back. Yeah!
Oh, man, solid reference.
When is the Never Ending Story podcast coming? That's what I want to know.
When's that? I will give this blasphemy as I say this, but when's that remake happening?
No.
It's gonna happen.
Your mouth.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think if memory serves, there was one rumored and it fell apart. Probably because they realized that part of the magic of that film is that everything looks so shitty / wonderful.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's shitty / wonderful.
But the same thing could have been said for Gene Wilder's fucking Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and they remade that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not shitty / wonderful. That's actually just wonderful.
But why did they do it?
Because they like to make money. They like
just
to make
wanted
money.
Quit buying things, people.
Because they like to take things you love and put Johnny Depp in them. By the way, have you seen Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them?
I have. He's great. He's great. It's great.
It's great.
I've heard that Johnny Depp is a no-no in that movie.
Well, he's in it for maybe 45 seconds. It's just, oh God, I'm so sorry. Spoilers?
No, too late. It's
Who
been out.
cares?
At this point, by the time this is out, it's been out for a month.
You know what? It's like the least important thing that happens in that movie.
It really is.
I like it so much. I reviewed it. I had a bunch of people telling me on the internet that I am, like, I don't have any taste. But you know what? I do have taste. And that movie, it do take nerve. It do.
It take nerve to be a sensitive man.
It's really good. Mm-hmm. It's the most I've ever liked Eddie Redmayne in anything that isn't like a
Point of order.
Oh God, Burberry ad. I like him in the Burberry print ads.
Point of order.
Yes, Julie.
I have seen Eddie Redmayne really in life speaking and talking to people at a panel when I went to go see a screener of the movie about Stephen Hawking.
Oh.
Before the film, I was talking to my friend who took me, and I was like, I'm not into this Eddie Redmayne thing. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. She's like, all right, whatever. He walked into that room, and I cannot explain to you how incredibly beautiful and charming he is.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised at all.
It was just like, I looked at Rebecca, who I was with, and I was just like, oh my God. And she's like, mm-hmm. And I was like, no, but I don't like it. I don't like redhead. Whatever. Shh, I'm just going to look at him.
He's very pretty.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Allison.
Hi, I'm Julie.
And that's Janine.
Hey.
This is Podlander Drunkcast, an Outlander podcast where sometimes we have bits and they turn into us talking about Eddie Redmayne being a
we
fox.
just talk about shit.
Also, really, like, it doesn't actually matter if you like Harry Potter or not. The world is a shit heap right now. Go see Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them because it will make you feel better about the world.
You know what? And I'm going to say that's a great introduction to the Harry Potter world without actually having to see Harry Potter.
Yeah, you don't have to at all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I went to a critic screening and I saw it with other people from the publication I write for, two of whom know the Potter books, one of whom has absolutely no idea, and we all liked it equally.
Nice.
It's just really good. And then Dan, I can never remember if it's Folger or Fogler.
I think it's Fogler.
Fogler
F-O-G. I think it's
is so fucking charming and wonderful, and also animated creatures. It's just. I'm going to make Julie see it with me. I'm going to do it.
Wait, which is first? That or Hamilton?
That's my Christmas present.
Oy vey.
Can you invite me to one of those?
Yes, both.
Okay.
You guys, I made a promise to Allison that I would listen to Hamilton for the first time with her.
How does a bastard? Oh, you know what?
No,
I
no,
just realized on
no.
this moment. I can briefly, with one minor adjustment, make this topical. How does a bastard, orphan, son of a Scotswoman and a Scotsman? That's Jamie Fraser.
Uh-huh.
That's how Hamilton starts, only a son of a whore and a Scotsman. Although, you know what? Some men would have called Jamie's mother a whore. So how does a bastard, orphan, son of a whore and a Scotsman, dropped in the middle of some forgotten spot in the Scotland and the Lally-Bracken?
Yeah, okay. We've gone off the rails.
Near the Dick Rock.
You're the Dick Rockin'. All right, so we're talking about season 1, episode 10.
By the pricking of my thumbs.
An episode which, in my memory, was mostly just set up for the next episode, which, for those of you watching for the first time, all I will say is it is one of the best episodes of the series so far. Mm-hmm. It is maybe the next one. Maybe the second best episode in season 1.
The next episode?
Yeah.
It's
it
probably
the best?
my favorite episode in
It's
season 1.
my favorite. I don't know if it's the best. I think the wedding might actually be the best, but the next one is my favorite. Yes, Janine.
I will say that IMDb definitely treats this episode as not important. There is one image on this particular
episode. It seems like it's
That sucks.
mostly filler,
Yeah.
but it's not.
It's some thriller.
and you want it's
Because
thriller.
guess who comes in?
Gayless.
And also,
Gayless.
do like Gayless.
also Purse First. This is the introduction of the
the
Duke of
introduction of
Sandringham.
Simon Callow.
That joke made me very happy.
Yes. So he's showing up in this episode, and that's worth it alone to know what's coming.
Yeah.
To know the camp that we will be treated
You
to.
know what's coming? Purse first.
Purse First.
In those coats.
So the little opening moment is somebody loading dueling pistols, and I'm like, you better use those.
Yeah, Chekhov says.
Yeah, Chekhov says. Hashtag Chekhov says, use those guns.
Use those guns.
Don't
You know
tease
what?
a gun.
Jamie always uses those guns. That's how he gets that finger dexterity.
You know what? You're right.
And it's on the wrist.
And then speaking of it's all in the wrist, although it's not all in the wrist, it's all in the tongue. We open up on an incredible scene of cunnilingus.
If you were going to rank the sex scenes in Outlander, this would be a top 10er for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe top 5er? Depends on how you count the scenes in the wedding.
And your preferences.
Yes. But, well, I mean, my preferences are to be eaten out, so this would be high.
Yeah, well, it's an unusual thing on television.
Yes, you never see this. And this
he's
is
like-
actually like really, this is even more graphic than when Frank did it in the first episode.
Yeah, well, because that's just the beginnings. I like to drop my G's today. It's just the beginnings. This is in the throes. It is also very clear that this is not about, I'm just going to go ahead and get you worked up and then we're going to fuck. This is Jamie saying, what's for breakfast? Your vagina.
Yeah.
Like
And
that. It is more,
I'm gonna
first of
eat
all,
it all
it's
day
morning
long.
sex. Second, there is no evidence that there is any intended reciprocity.
Morning sex, though. You guys, I love you all so much. Please don't. Not for me. I can't.
It's
okay for her. This
I'm
is great.
assuming your husband already knows this.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, when I think about morning sex, it makes me sad.
Wait, what?
I just want to sleep. I just want to, not now.
Yeah, but morning
Later.
sex, a key element to morning sex is
The fact that
I'm
it's-
awake, I'm drowsy, I'm rolling around, and now there's a penis inside me.
Okay.
Or even the idea of this, like it's waking up, and lots of stimulus, and then I get to go back to sleep.
Or the best part of waking up is Jamie in your cup. Cunt. I could have gone there. I'm glad you did.
So point being, it's really hot. And this is another scene where there's part of me that just wishes that these two people, like, maybe they have an understanding. Here's my hope. My hope is that at some point they sat down over a nice whiskey.
Or chai latte. That's how I like to see it. Because
Chai latte?
knitwear is involved.
Right.
Coffee shop.
Listen,
Kind of raining
we're
outside.
two
Maybe a little bit
professionals.
raining. Kind of a little bit cold, but not really cold.
yeah. We're professionals, and we should understand something. We're just going to become aroused. That's how this works. we will acknowledge in a professional space that it doesn't matter at all. However, when we get back to wherever it is that Stars is paying for us to live, all you have to do
is
knock on my door. And I will fuck the ever-loving shit out of you. Just consider it a job perk right alongside your 401k. I will never, if you don't wanna, then don't knock. If I don't wanna, I won't answer. But if you're like, man, remember how you pretend, because also, they did 27 takes of that. Remember how you pretended to eat me out for 6 hours of our workday today? What? Are you hungry?
You're begging for it.
I was in a commercial. I had to make out with a girl. The director said we needed to do multiple takes, which I said thank you for.
You're fine.
And then that's all I really wanted to do when I got off that commercial set was to make out with her more. Because it was forced. You're so close. You're so close to having a real moment. You want to just see if that exists?
It looked like Claire was having a real moment.
Oh, it sure did. It looked like they were both having a real moment.
Well, it's hilarious because he's really going for it, and then all of a sudden, on the door, on the door. No. And then Claire's like, and Jamie's like, no.
And he lifts up his head and he goes, no.
And then he continues
and then
going
he dives
to town.
right back into that muff.
He just dives right back into the muff and goes for it. And the knocking gets more insistent and louder.
And then there's more knocking as she's pounding on the headboard.
As Claire achieves orgasm while being distracted by the door. And whatever.
It's because Jamie's sheer force of will went, come back to me.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, what's it?
And then it's done. And then she rolls over, very satisfied. And Jamie opens the door and he's like, what? And it's Murtaugh.
Your marriage duties are making you. He says something about marriage duties. And then he sees Claire in the bed and he goes, oh.
Not only does he see Claire in the bed, he sees Claire in the bed with the look of,
She's literally going like this.
This was good. Thanks, Murtaugh.
No, I don't think she acknowledges it. She's just like, oh, I can't feel my legs.
No, you know what?
I can't
feel my legs. She's having that tiny little second orgasm.
Yes.
The later little one. Yes. The one where if you cross your legs hard enough, it's
file that under a woman's secret right next to a finger up the butt.
Hashtag woman's secret. That little second aftershock where you push your knees together and then it explodes. Yes. That's what's happening to her as Murtaugh's trying to talk to her. Nah.
Oh, trying to talk to Jamie.
But looking at her like,
oh, boy.
I'm sorry. And then he looks away because he's a little bit ashamed. But is he? He's kind of looking through his fingers.
Yeah. He's just like, oh, that's alluring.
Mm-hmm. Duke of Sandringham's there. Gotta go check it out.
I can't wait.
That's what he came to tell him. He's like, the Duke of Sandringham has arrived. And we're like, sweet, purse first.
And once Claire catches her breath, stops coming, and comes to her senses.
Gives herself a whore bath. Pits and bits.
She says, oh, by the way, the Duke of Sandringham, you can't trust anything that guy says. And Jamie, if I tell you... No, first she says, Jamie, if I tell you, promise not to ask me how I know. He says yes. And Murtaugh says,
I did not make that promise. And then Jamie's like, yeah, you did.
So she basically says, you can't trust anything he says. He knows Blackjack Randall. He's a friend of Blackjack Randall's. Which is a thing that Frank and Reverend Wakefield...
Which he's already used once disastrously.
Yes. Yeah. Suppose they guessed at, only the Beege's reaction to Claire dropping that particular nugget was strong enough that she's pretty sure it's true.
Right.
So she says, you can't trust anything this dude says. And he says, well, it's literally my only chance to not be a fucking outlaw murderer anymore.
So I gotta do it.
So I gotta try it. Ned Gowan, and then he goes to Ned Gowan, and they have this whole conversation where Ned Gowan does some lawyery shit. And
then says the following line, Ned Gowan, I love you so much. The truth or lies have very little to do with the law.
That's a really good line.
What an asshole.
He doesn't know that he's about to be out-queened.
Everyone on this show is about to be out-queened.
Yeah, including Galis.
Mm-hmm.
Which is...
That's hard.
That's real hard.
Yeah.
Right. Like nipples as hard as acorns.
So Ned comes up with this plan. He's like, here's what we'll do. I will draft a petition saying that Blackjack Randall has tried to do all these horrible things to Claire. He has...
among other people.
Yeah. He's just been horrible. And if we get it to the Duke of Sandringham, he can take it back to London.
And if he gets sent off to some shitty island in the West Indies, for book readers, that's hilarious. Gets sent off to some shitty island in the West Indies to spend the rest of his military career, that's worse than being dead. And then it's likely that you could get a pardon. And Jamie's all like, interesting.
This sounds like a great idea. Go ahead and draft that petition.
So what's Claire
Thank you,
doing
Ned.
while this is happening?
Claire has had it once again up to here with the likes of these circus people, and she is about to fucking beat Leary down.
She marches through those like narrow Castellia hallways like a fucking stormtrooper.
Boss.
Like, pom, 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 pom,
Dirty
pom.
South boss.
And shows up, and Mrs. Fitz, we love you. Annette Badland 1, just in case you haven't gotten around from last week.
At Annette Badland
1.
Go tell her how you love her.
Hashtag
Fitzmob.
Is getting an apron from Leary that Leary stitched herself with her tiny, shitty, meddling fingers. And she says, isn't this beautiful? And Claire says, I need to have a moment alone with Leary.
So could you clear out?
And it's like, oh, it seems serious. Are you sure you don't want me to stay? And Claire, to her credit, does not say, well, your niece is trying to steal my husband. And also, she put this crazy witch
Blair
shit
witch
under my
shit.
bed.
I lost the map.
Claire has the decency to approach Leary privately to say, the fuck out.
Back off. Back off. But then...
Not on tonight.
Not on tonight. And Leary is obviously not receptive.
What did she say? Jamie must need to get stone drunk before he plows your fields.
And then Claire straight up slaps her across the face.
And then says, this is Fergus
This
level
is so
shade.
good. It's so good. Slap! I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that.
And is so
That's
obviously
it.
not sorry. It's like, for those of you who've watched season 2, that is a Fergus level sick burn.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. That's it. But it's very clear that she should have. And it's obvious that Leary is not repentant at all.
No.
And then she says, you need to talk to your friend Galus because that's where I got the ill wish. And Claire's like, God damn it.
sold me the Alwash. Alwash.
God damn it, Galus.
Can we just say Alwash one more time? I love it.
Alwash.
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 So then what happens, Julie?
This is when I don't understand how time works here because all of a sudden it's nighttime.
Well,
It's winter.
Right?
are we with Jamie or are we with Claire?
I have it going straight to Galus in the full
Oh
moon.
no! So Claire then is like, I should probably talk to this bitch who's
that's
supposed
right.
to be my friend.
She goes into town and Galus is gone.
Galus is gone, and in her place, she finds Galus's husband trying
Fart McFarterton.
really hard to take a shit. By the way, I've seen that dude in a couple of movies this year, and he's doing a great job.
Excellent.
Galus's husband, the Master Duncan,
Somebody
somebody Duncan.
Got it.
Will you pull up his IMDb so I know what the fuck I'm talking about? I can't remember. I've watched Arthur Duncan. I've watched like 27 movies in the last 2
John
weeks.
Sessions.
Pull up his.
Oh, we
pull up
talked
his
about him
IMDb.
because he's not the racist senator that is now going to be part of the cabinet.
He's not the race center.
What do you want to know about him?
What are?
Oh, he's in Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Oh,
give me
he's great in that.
2016 movies.
Does he play Mr. Norrell?
No.
he does not. But he's John Murray. He's in.
One of the guys in the cabinet of people
He's in.
Oh, is he the husband? The husband of the woman? No, never mind.
No.
What movie's 2016?
2016. He had a busy year. He was in Denial, Friday Night Dinner, Upstart Crow, Florence Foster Jenkins.
There you
he's
go.
Great, and Florence Foster Jenkins. Keep going. I haven't watched Denial yet. I have the screener.
Mid Morning Matters with Alan Partridge. Comic Strip Presents Red Top and The Rat Pack.
Oh, there's something I'm not thinking of. Whatever. He's great in Florence Foster Jenkins.
But there he is, farting all over the joint.
Oh, and at some point, Claire says, I suppose I should leave. And he says, by God, you should!
Because he knows he's about to, because he's already asked his chambermaid like 3 times to bring him the chamber pot because he's about to shit himself.
And every time that
But he tells her, Galus, you can go look for her wherever. Oh,
the maid does. He keeps saying things like, oh, my sweet lamb, where are you? Well, he's in digestive distress.
And the maid is like, you should go check fucking woods.
This
'Cause
place
it's a
in the
moon night.
woods
A full moon.
at midnight, whatever.
And then there we are.
Cut straight to Claire's walking through the woods by herself. In what universe does Jamie allow this? This is my question.
I don't know. There's a lot of that happening in this
Is
episode.
Claire thinking, oh, well, Jamie promised he wouldn't hit me anymore. I'd do what I want.
I do what I want. I do what I want. She goes out into the woods with this tiny little lantern, and she can see some fires up ahead, and then she realizes it's Galus and blows the lantern out so that she can hide.
I have a couple of costume notes here. So you see Galus, and she's wearing this like
Grecian
flimsy toga thing.
toga.
It is actually the dress that she wears at the end of this episode with the eye brooch. Mm-hmm. Right? Isn't that the one she wears?
No. She doesn't. It's not the same one. She wore that one in
Earlier.
earlier in the season.
Like a gauzy white thing that
It
didn't
is
really,
that, though.
with that big eye brooch. And it's the same dress, only without the dress part.
Without
so
the
she's
actual-
basically wearing a bunch of see-through fabric over her body while she's like
orgiastically like throwing herself through the woods.
doing the housekeeper's name? Mrs.
Fitzgibbon.
Graham.
Yeah, Mrs. Graham.
She's doing the Mrs. Graham dance.
But maybe like
Modified.
and slightly nefarious.
Yes,
because
it is the Mrs. Graham dance.
Because
like
she-
a modification of the
But
Mrs.
she
Graham dance.
has a straw man that she's setting on fire, and I'm like, how many people are you going to set on fire?
She's enjoying. It's almost
enjoying
like
it is
Jamie is eating
very,
her pussy.
A very mild word.
It's like an invisible Jamie is eating her
She
pussy
is
while she walks around in the
communing
forest.
with nature in a way that is unseemly.
You know what?
She is.
Props to her because goddamn, Lottie Verbeek sells the hell out of this.
She
scene.
really does. It's like the earth gives her an orgasm is
Yeah.
what it's like.
And you believe it.
She strips her fucking gauzy off and she's like naked to the wind and
like
it's cold
whipping her
or
hair
whatever. And
back
she's
and
whipping her hair
forth.
and she just fucking like does it right there.
And then we get to my favorite moment, maybe my favorite moment in the whole episode, which is she's done and she's like gasping a lot like Claire. She's clenching her knees to have that second orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
And she finishes and she's like satisfied, smiling to herself. And then she says, "You can come out now, Claire."
She knows she's there.
I love it.
She's like,
so much.
I always like to imagine that someone's watching. Mm-hmm.
Then she starts talking about the wind and says, "My nipples are hard as acorns." It's just great.
And Claire's like, I can see that.
Yeah. This is the part, whenever we talk about galas, this is the part where I remind you that if you haven't watched Agent Carter yet, you're the reason it got canceled. And you should really check it out because she's so fucking great in the second season of Agent Carter in a completely different role.
I forgot a gag that I had here.
Ooh, gag me.
When she is throwing herself around in the gauzy shit and like everything's going back and forth and music and everything. I was like, this looks like a Tori Amos video.
Here's a fun fact to know about Julie. If you're one of the people who will eventually come to Chicago and send us a message so we'll meet you for a beer, Julie fucking hates Stevie Nicks. If you want to earn both of our affection permanently, because Julie appreciates being fucked with, and I appreciate people fucking with Julie. If you come and meet us at a bar, download the Touch Tunes app on your iPhone.
Oy vey,
get in that
no.
jukebox and play nothing but Fleetwood Mac for an hour.
If you play Dreams, you're cool.
Now here I go again.
Hello, she freedom. That song is not too shitty.
Anyway, what we're saying is Galus is the Stevie Nicks of
Yes, you
Outlander.
take your Stevie Nicks and you get the fuck out of here. But here she is. And she's pregnant.
Get out of my mind.
She's fucking pregnant. And we can tell because when she's dancing, she's touching her belly like pregnant women do. And Claire sees it. And Claire's like, you're pregnant. And she's like,
Except for Claire's not Scottish, bro.
she's like, you're pregnant.
You're pregnant.
And she's like, yes, I am. And then how does she play it? Is she like, does she say something about Arthur must be so pleased? And she's like, he's never seen my naked
she
body.
says, it's been my secret for so long. She says, doesn't your husband know? Kira says, I'm not aware he's ever seen my naked body. At least not with the lights on. And then Claire says, I thought you guys weren't having sex. And she goes, oh, we're not. And it's the best. And then she says, oh, wait, I've been fucking some other dude. And if you had to guess one person that she was fucking,
That Gayless in particular would be fucking. Who would she fuck?
Gil.
All right. It's pretty obvious, though.
This is where I remind you that Janine doesn't know shit about shit. This isn't a thing that Janine knows because Janine has seen 2 episodes of Outlander at this point. He has seen the season finale of season 2, and he has seen the wedding. He has also seen the sex scene from The Reckoning. End of list. So he has no idea.
But really, I think what Janine is trying to say is that truly Dougal is fucking everyone because his semen is like in the air around him like a cloud.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He is very virile.
He's a walking ejaculator.
He is a walking cum
think,
stick.
What I think is that probably Janine is aware that maybe the Gilf doesn't always make the best decisions.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Because you might have guessed Murtagh, but you didn't.
No.
You know what? If Gayless had better taste, she would have ridden that grapefruit.
Gayless doesn't give a shit about a man's emotions or his respect, and that has clearly been proven.
She gives a shit about his dick and his money.
That's it.
And his brains.
Well, no.
That's more evident in the book.
She will kill. If you're in her way, she'll kill you.
Yes, but in the book, here's a book thing that's not a spoiler. In the book, Gayless makes it clear that she at least thinks that she loves Dougal.
She just really wants to fuck him, though.
Believes that he is almost her equal. She also says that the person who is actually her equal is Colum, but she can't fuck Colum. Well, because Colum can't fuck. It's not a King Ricketts thing. Right?
It's because he can't get it up.
Shoot your bloodline.
Yeah, so he just can't actually
Presumably, he either can't fuck or not easily. Something. There's
that's like a really depressing thing to think about.
Yeah. Anyway.
So she's pregnant. We find out it's Gilf's. What?
And then she says, Claire, will you keep my secrets? And Claire says, yeah, okay, I'll keep your secrets.
Yeah, whatever.
You're my only friend since I've come to this part of Scotland.
And then they start walking away, and Lottie Verbeek is now dressed, and she is wearing the cutest gnome coat I've ever seen.
Oh, it really is designed to make her look like she's like a wilderness creature.
Of the fairy, because that's what's about to happen.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they hear a fucking baby crying in the woods. And let me tell you guys something. If you're ever in the woods and you hear a baby crying, ignore it.
Oh.
No!
You never heard that sound? No, you didn't, because nothing good is going to come of that. It's like if you're in a horror movie and all of a sudden you're like out in space and you see your son that's in a wheelchair on your spaceship. There's no way he could be there, right?
Can I just like
Don't go towards your son,
Janine.
I'm going to qualify that. If I find myself in an obviously science fiction fantasy situation, okay, but in real life, I'm going to go to the baby.
No. No.
In real life, I am also going to go to the baby.
If that makes me a hard bitch, then I'm a hard bitch. I am moving away from the crying baby in the middle of the mystic Celtic woods.
You know what? My rules pertaining to truths we know of fiction that apply to life are mostly, if something terrifies you, you don't go upstairs and you don't go in the basement.
And don't split up.
You stay on the level.
Oh, you get the fuck out.
Yeah, you just leave. Oh, and you don't split up, and you don't go towards a crying
And
baby.
you never say, I'll be right back.
No, never.
Never.
And you know what? You have all the sex you want. That is society telling you if you get fucked, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
You have all the sex you want. That is the opposite of not going upstairs or into the basement. But
That's just saying there's a couch. Let's go do it.
yeah, let's fuck.
Fuck on the couch.
I gotta say this, though. Seriously. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, when does a baby crying ever equal good?
Well, never, but you're a decent human being.
No, I'm not. I'm an asshole.
No,
and I'm
but
walking
Julie-
away from that.
No. Here's what I'll say. If it's a small child, that small child is capable of wandering around and or crying for help and like laying out its needs specifically. So like assume it's like a 7-year-old kid. And the kid is like, I lost my mom and dad and also I got bitten by a snake. Then you have a clear objective. If the kid goes, I'm I'm so lonely and afraid, and also I'm possessed by the devil, then you don't go.
But see, babies don't do that because they don't speak English.
Because babies aren't capable of doing anything for themselves at all. And they can't
that's creepy
do
to me, too.
anything to you. But Julie, they can't do anything to you if you don't go close to them.
They can do plenty to me.
No, but Julie, if you walk into a fairy hill and you see a baby nestled in a tree like this, by the way,
the
dead
evil
baby
tree.
is.
Evil tree. It's like the most evil tree you've ever seen.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's pretty
Come
evil.
on, The Ring.
That's evil, but this one
the
is like
Wizard of Oz.
What did I say? I was like, evilest tree goes to this evil tree.
The Wizard of Oz.
It's at least third place.
The Return to Wizard of Oz.
I don't know. This one was pretty evil. It was very large.
The trees in Twister.
They're pretty bad, but not as bad as this guy.
Also, I just saw Monster Calls, although technically that tree monster is sort of on the kid's side. Mm-hmm. If you're thinking, I want to watch a movie that's going to make me feel better about the world, don't watch Monster Calls. It's a beautiful movie, but if you're like, should I watch this or Finding Dory? You pick Finding Dory.
Okay.
Anyway.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Okay, so they hear the baby crying, and I'm on Team Gayless, who's like, fuck no.
But that's not
and
why Gayless does it.
Obviously not. She's like, they put him there because they believe in fairies. I'm out. Peace.
There
and
is
she leaves.
no reason. Nothing good can come of you going after this. And Claire's like, by the way, I'm a fucking nurse.
I gotta go.
I gotta see to this baby. By the time she shows up, the baby's already dead. How high was that hill?
It only took her like 4 or 5 minutes to get up there, it felt like. But the baby was obviously in distress and had died already.
And baby Language is saying, oh, I'm already dead. I'm already dead. This is the sound I make when I shit myself.
Unless it was a fairy baby. And
it wasn't a fairy
everything
baby.
that Gayla said was true. I
don't know what we're singing.
Fucking Stevie Nicks.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Now here you go again. You say your baby's a fairy.
So Claire goes up there, baby's dead. Then she holds the dead baby for what to me feels like an inordinate amount of time.
Well, it must be a long time because it's long enough for Galus to get back to Castle Leoch. Mm-hmm. And you have to assume that Galus went far enough into the woods that nobody was going to stumble on her unless they were either there because they were Claire or they were there because they wanted to bone Mother Earth too.
Yeah. And so she gets back to the castle and she's like, Jamie.
Oh, hey, Jamie, you should maybe go get your wife.
Your wife might be in a sticky
like,
wicket.
Why did I promise never to beat her again?
I gotta go. God damn it. And then he finds her and he like gets the baby out of her arms and he's like, you have to understand that some of these people have never left like a mile from where they live and blah, blah, blah.
It's a good point.
And then I started crying again.
Yeah. He's very compassionate to these people and to Claire. She says, you can't believe in fairies. And he says, what I believe doesn't matter. What matters is that these people think this is what happened. And maybe thinking that their baby is alive with the fairies and the fairy baby died will make it possible for them to get through the day. And it's just awful. And then they leave. Also, she's wearing her amazing Rent coat.
Yes. Yes, she is.
I love that coat. Mm-hmm. So eventually, I wonder if the fact that Claire interfered with a fairy baby is going to come back.
I don't know. Dick Rock?
I don't know.
Me, no. I do know
not Dick Rock.
that something new is about to enter our vision. Something elegant.
But Julie, how is this thing going to enter?
It's going to come in purse first.
Yes.
And it's going to have a resplendent wig. And it's going to have impeccable delivery, just the right amount of campiness, and a true understanding of shade.
It's also going to have an ability to drink what I'm estimating as like 15 glasses of wine over the course of a 2-hour meal at which you're the guest speaker for a room full of American exchange students.
Did he speak in Bada when you were there?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he entered briefcase first. No, he didn't. But it'd be great if he did. Anyway.
So, I little spoiler, after the episode, they do the thing where they talk about this episode of Outlander, whatever. And they were talking about how fascinating of a character the Duke of Sandringham is and how it was so interesting in the book that this guy played both sides and was, so witty and weird. And they were like, we had to find just the right actor. And getting Simon Callow was one of the best things that ever happened. And it is truly, like, in life.
He's perfectly cast.
One of the best things that have ever happened.
I hope that he wakes up every morning and thinks to himself, I've done a lot of great things. And some of them were unexpected and some of them were challenging, but at least once, maybe other times, I haven't seen his filmography is like insane, but at least once I got so perfectly cast that I just had to show up.
I just had to show up and speak the Queen's English. That's all I had to do.
Queen's English.
That's all I had to do. And you know what? Cheers. This guy is an actor that deserves every single
so
accolade
good.
he's ever gotten.
It is a crying fucking shame that he did not win an Emmy for this show. It doesn't make any sense to me.
He's too good.
I watch a lot of television. I recognize that I have a bias towards Outlander, but there are 3 people in Outlander that I am confident that my bias does not extend to. 1. Specifically in Faith in season 2. The fact that she wasn't nominated for an Emmy for the second season of Outlander just for that episode is bullshit. 2. Tobias Menzies, who plays 2 roles that are somehow also sort of the same role so well that you can both tell who it is just by looking at his jawline and also always see the connection between them for reasons that have nothing to do with the fact that his face is always the same. 3. Simon Callow. I have nothing else to add.
because that's all you need to say.
He's so good. He's so well cast and funny and sad. And God, if you're watching this for the first time, I really cannot wait for you to see the other things that this character does.
Oh my God.
He just gets
He
so
is just
good.
such a sneaky bitch.
He's so good with dialogue. He's so funny. His timing is fucking perfect.
He's impeccable. Anyway, so here we go.
Hold on. I just feel like I need to give people a taste of some of the other things that this man has done.
Gowan?
I've got it right here. He was on Gallivant, which I haven't watched yet because I haven't got there yet.
The actor's name is Bill Patterson.
No,
No.
that's Ned Gowan.
Oh,
We're talking about Simon Callow.
Simon Callow,
Oh, my bad.
Callow.
who plays the Duke of Sandringham. He played Charles Dickens in 2 episodes of Doctor Who, and it is fabulous.
I need to see that.
We'll do it.
Immediately.
You know what, Julie?
Yeah.
For
He was
Christmas,
great.
we will watch a Charles Dickens episode of Doctor Who because they're Christmas Carol
And then
episodes.
I'll listen to Hamilton in front of you.
No, not in front of me, with me.
Okay. I feel like it's weirdly performative. but
No, it's
whatever.
not. Julie, you have to trust me. I'm sharing something with you I know that
I
you're
trust.
going
I trust.
to like.
I trust.
How many times have I pulled this card? Like 4, maybe? I think
couldn't
one of
even-
them was this show,
I couldn't even. I think Outlander was definitely one
right?
of them.
And then our favorite show.
RuPaul's Drag Race. But
Well,
I had already
no,
been
I didn't
watching
know.
that.
Our favorite play.
Which is.
There is a happiness
Oh,
morning.
yes. Oh, my God. By the way, I might be doing storytelling the same night as Diana Slickman.
Oh, go to hell. Oh, are you doing the next YBR?
Uh-huh.
So am I.
Nice.
So we both might be doing.
The 7th.
So may I call it a thing he's done that's actually not very good?
Yeah.
He was in Arn, A-R-N, the Knight Templar. I've watched it on
Oh, boy.
Netflix. It's so bad.
Hey, you got to make that money,
Okay,
though.
so he did the miniseries of Angels in America. He played one of the priors. He did something called Thunderpants. I don't know what that is, but
That's
it's awesome.
amazing.
Oh God, he's played Charles Dickens 3 separate times.
I need to see this guy.
At least. Shakespeare in Love. He was the Master of Revels in Shakespeare in Love. He was in The Woman in White.
Oh, he had his heyday.
Oh God, he was in Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
Jefferson and
no.
Parrot. He also clearly has an incredibly accomplished stage career.
He was in Street Fighter.
He was Gareth in 4 Weddings and a Funeral, which is one of the great roles in 4 Weddings and a Funeral, which is an underrated movie, by the way. He did a movie called The Crucifer of Blood,
Oh, my God.
in which he played Inspector Lestrade, which I assume means that it's a Sherlock Holmes
Sherlock
mystery.
Holmes thing.
Oh, well, no.
Postcards from the Edge.
Who was he in Postcards from the Edge?
He was Simon Asquith.
So basically playing himself, it sounds
Probably.
like. Purse first, bitch.
David Copperfield, A Room with a View,
Ooh, yeah.
Amadeus, Emmanuel Schinkanader. He played Napoleon once. He's a really fucking good actor.
He's really good, and he's been doing it for like fucking 70 years.
And it's not close. The most accomplished actor career-wise the show has ever booked. Mm-hmm. And it's not close. This dude, if he doesn't have an OBE, he'll get one before he dies. He's one of those guys.
And here he is. So he's at this weird outpost on Mackenzie Land, which actually is like this beautiful Mansfield Park style manor. And he's like, this will do.
And he's got a stenographer. Why?
Because bitches have stenographers. I don't know. Because he's doing his own autobiography.
No, a book of witty quotes. He's having a person record the things he says for like the most wise and wonderful aphorisms of his noble the Duke of Sandringham.
Yeah.
So he basically just has a guy there to write down all of the witty things he says. And the best part is near the end of the scene when he says, "My dear, you have such a beautiful neck. It holds up your head so wonderfully. I'd hate to see them parted." Beep, beep. Write that down.
So Claire comes in without Jamie knowing and is like, dude, you have to sign this petition. And he's like, oh, you're pretty. No, I don't have to do anything. And she's like, I know that you're Blackjack Randall's friend, and I know that you're supporting him, and I know that you're helping him do this. And he's like, ooh.
I assume that my friendship would be more valuable to you than a trip to the gallows.
Yeah, and it's like,
Claire gets real cold.
Mm-hmm. And then he's like, I am very fond of Jamie. And it's like, yeah, you're very fond of Jamie because you really just want to stick your finger up his butt. But okay, who doesn't? And then he's like, all right, I will help you. Because it's this whole great like intrigue scene where she talks him into it. And then he's finally like, yes. And he says the thing about it would be a shame to see them parted, your head and your neck. I'll help you. But you have to send Jamie here, or Jamie has to do a certain thing. He doesn't say that, right? Because he knows Jamie is coming. Right?
Often.
Well, I mean, come on.
No, it's this odd. Well, it's where Claire goes full Lady Macbeth. If I'm being
Claire
honest,
went rogue. She straight
Claire
went to go see him
Jamie
without
doesn't
it.
know I'm here. Mm-hmm. The fact that he doesn't know I'm here doesn't matter. He's a good person. I'm here to be the fucking enforcer. You can say whatever the fuck you want. Here's what I know about you. You will do what I want, or I will fucking get you hanged. Mm-hmm. Is basically what happens.
Right.
This relationship remains one of the show's most interesting for its duration to date. Mm-hmm. It is fucking great. And that'll be our little spoiler section.
Right. So she has this great scene with him where she shows her balls and he's like, I see your balls. I see your balls. I see your balls. And then she leaves. And then all of a sudden,
Those balls.
She goes back to Castle Leoghaire and Dougal is freaking out. Guess what happened?
His wife died.
You
know what? I want to give it up for Graham McTavish.
Has this happened yet?
What?
No. Gaelus's thing hasn't happened yet, right?
Her big thing at the end?
Yeah, because that happens after.
That's later.
Right.
No, so remember, Gaelus said that what she was doing was ascending to see if she and Dougal could be together. So Claire shows up back at Castle Leoghaire, and Dougal is fucking
Sonny
losing
Corleoning
his
out.
goddamn mind. And I want to give it up for Graham McTavish, who is great in lots and lots of episodes, but he sells this like drunk, guilty, grieving, self-hateful thing like nobody's business. And everything else that's happening is everybody else in the room trying to figure out how they can get him to stop. And there's a whole bit with Claire, bit's the wrong word, moment with Claire drugging some alcohol. And then
Like
is it
Angus has to go get the
Is
alcohol.
this the first really great
Yes.
non-dick Angus moment?
It's when they first team up.
Yeah.
And she's like, Angus, how can I get this into something he will drink? And he's like, oh, I know what he'll drink. And like he moves away.
What makes you think he wouldn't drink it?
Yeah, and he moves away like he's skirting the perimeter of the room, trying not to draw Dougal's eye because he doesn't.
Because Dougal is kicking the shit out of everything.
He's just trying to
that
stab
moves
everything.
and is stationary.
He's just trying to stab everything. So Angus is like working the perimeter of the room and he gets over to a bottle of what I can only assume is Rhenish. And then he brings the Rhenish over and then Dougal sees him. And he's like, what are you doing? And he's like, And Angus has the correct response, which is drinking to, what's the wife's name?
Oh, I can't remember. That's so terrible. Mistress Dougal's.
Mistress Dougal's. Oh, God. He knows her first name. But
I
he's
know.
like offering a
But
drink
we don't.
to...
We're bad feminists.
Offering a drink to Barry Lyndon, whatever. And then Dougal has this moment where he like stops and drunkenly comes to a stop and looks at Angus and then walks towards him, stumbles towards him, and takes the bottle of Rhenish, which Claire has drugged, and just drinks deep.
And then passes the fuck out. Goes night-night.
And then they have to cart him out of the room, and Colm is like, if you drop him, I'll have your balls.
But also take that idiot far away from me.
Yeah,
which
get him
comes
outta
back
here.
in a minute. Mm-hmm. Because, let's just do it now. Let's finish up Dougal now. Because the rest of what really matters here is Jamie's shit and Claire's shit. Mm-hmm. So eventually Jamie gets sent away, and we'll get to the things that happened in between this, because Colm is like, Dougal, you are a hot goddamn mess. I don't care that your mistress is pregnant. Get the fuck out. Mm-hmm. Go chill out. Get your senses back before you're anywhere near anyone else for a while. And by the way, Jamie, you're going with him. Mm-hmm. And Jamie's like, oh, but I have to fuck the shit out of my wife. And he's like, I don't care.
Out. Yeah.
Go.
So that's towards the end of the episode, but that is what happens with Dougal.
So that's the end of Dougal, right? Like, Dougal has a goddamn meltdown. And then eventually he's like, oh, but by the way, Galus is having my baby. And Colm is like, I don't give a goddamn motherfuck. Get out of my presence. Go far away.
So we go back to the Duke of Sandringham, and this time Jamie's going to see him to talk about the petition. Now, remember, Jamie doesn't know that Claire's already been there.
But he does look great.
He does. And he's like, hello, please help me. And the Duke of Sandringham is like, yes, I will help you if you help me. Something about scratching a back, which is sad and very unsensitive considering Jamie's back.
Oh, he doesn't know.
But it's like, I have been challenged to a duel by the McDonald clan.
Because he hasn't paid a debt.
Whatever.
So basically, like, you know what? If you're ever thinking... debt collectors are assholes, just be relieved that they can't point a gun at your head.
Right. So he's like, I have to be in a duel with the McDonald's and I need a second. It's not really an actual duel. We're not actually going to kill each other. It's more like we point a gun in the air and shoot it. It's a matter of honor. Will you be my second? Then I will take your petition to London. And he's like, fine, great. And Jamie's like, sweet. Yes, I'll do this. And Murtaugh's like, ooh, McDonald's. And he's like, whatever, I'm doing this.
Murtaugh is basically always, that seems like a bad idea. And Jamie is always, I don't give a fuck.
I just have to do, this is my only chance.
Murtagh is the Cassandra of Outlander.
God. Okay.
Anyway.
So that happens. And then they have a big feast at Castle Laoghaire to welcome the Duke of Sandringham. And he comes in, and I need you guys to know this. I don't know if you know this.
Does he enter first?
He does enter first, but really what enters is a peacock cake. And peacocks are bad luck. Generally speaking, peacocks represent bad luck.
But they're so pretty.
Nope. They represent the evil eye because of the thing on their tails. And so that shit comes in, and I'm like, bad luck. And then guess what happens? Galus' husband fucking dies. At dinner, right there. He just fucking erps into his face, chokes, and dies. And she looks down and then looks up.
I want to describe this moment for a moment.
Claire can see her. Nobody else is looking at her the way Claire is looking at her.
This is an like a because it's silent. So this is an auditory interpretation of what happens in this moment. Lottie Verbeek, bless her. She's watching her husband choke to death,
hit the tank,
and her face makes this sound. And then pause. Then she goes, but there's this full like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm so glad it's happening right here.
Motion, she goes, oh shit, I should probably be acting. And
but
then
also,
she starts grieving.
It's not just that she's silent for too long. It's that she is very pointedly making eye contact with Dougal, who is still here at this point. This is pre what we talked about with the end of his story. She looks at him and he weirdly smiles. And
I have no memory of that.
It's true. Colum sees him smile, which is why he gets banished.
Oh, I thought it was because he's a jackass.
No, Colum sees him smile at Galus Duncan and is like, all right, dickhead, you're out. And he knows right away. So that happens here. So obviously Claire is the only person that knows that fucking Galus has actually poisoned her husband. Then we go to the duel. It's dumb. They don't shoot at each other. It's ridiculous.
I also say, as a miscalculation on Outlander's part, the duel is absolutely nowhere near as interesting as what happens with Galus.
Mm-hmm. So they go to the duel. It's weird. It's like they're outside of his Mansfield Manor, Mansfield Park, whatever. They shoot the guns in the air. Everything's fine. And it's like him and the old man McDonald are like doo-dah. They're great. But then McDonald's sons can't let it go.
This is like, if there's one scene in Outlander that could be just captioned, fucking dudes.
Yeah, dudes. Why don't you let it go? Your dad has already said.
The Duke of Sandringham, he's omitted from this.
Right.
He does fine.
Right. Your dad has already said that he accepts this as a medal of honor. Like,
but
we have
Jamie
done
too.
this.
Jamie also is at fault.
Right. And then all of a sudden they start lobbing insults back and forth after the shooting happens.
Your mother, fuck your mother, blah, blah.
Yeah, all the dude ass grab shit. And then Jamie says something about how McDonald men learn how to fuck by fucking their mothers. And that's just the final straw. And so he gets attacked by 3 dudes. And he manages to take them all down, but then he's hurt.
But only sort of.
It's like he's got a gash in his side and maybe his nipples
the show
off or whatever.
Doesn't even attempt to make it seem life-threatening. It's all
there is
whole
a
thing's
great
played for
scene though.
laughs.
There is a great scene though when he falls down where the Duke of Sandringham is like, "Oh, I did not mean for this to happen. I need you to tell your wife that this was not my fault.
Please tell your wife
and then,
I didn't do this.
Give me the petition." And then he leaves. And that shit's great.
It's wonderful.
And then Jamie shows back up and he's like, and Claire's trying to stitch him up and This is when the banishing happens. And then he has to leave with Gelf.
So now let's talk about the thing that really matters in this episode.
Right.
Which is why it's the most important thing that happens in this episode, which is why in my head this episode is just a setup for the next one.
Right. So Claire sends Jamie away and is like, all right.
She kisses him a fond goodbye.
I understand that you have to go do this for your laird and it's great. And then fine, I'll stay here at Castle Leoch. It's great. And then she gets a note that says, Claire, come quick, Galus. And I'm like,
and Claire,
check your sources, bitch.
She does. You know how now in the world we live in, on social media, you see a headline and hopefully you know what, if you're listening to this show, I guarantee you know that you have to check where this news is coming from on fucking both sides of the political spectrum. People are full of bullshit everywhere. I don't know when it is that news became like a
entertainment. Just talk to marketing.
Not just entertainment.
1987.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
When news became bullshit. Anyway, doesn't matter.
1987. There's a date to this. We can talk about that.
Well, no, because it's fucking pre-World War I. Lusitania is actually when. Mm-hmm. Anyway, oh boy, I'm pushing up my glasses right now. But Claire doesn't check her sources.
Nope.
She gets
and she
this note
runs
to her
to Galus.
Credit. She thinks, "Oh, my friend, her husband just died.
Something
she
is
needs
wrong.
Me.
I've got
I have
to go."
And all this episode is missing at this point is Larry fucking twisting her mustache.
Well, we get to see her twisting her damn mustache.
No, but she doesn't have a mustache.
But it's essentially the same.
So Claire goes running to help Galus.
And is like, get out of here. Get out. You have to leave.
You sent me this note. And Galus is like, bitch, I didn't send you any note.
And Claire's like,
also,
leave,
I'm not leaving
leave,
my house.
Leave. You have to leave now. You don't understand.
And
you have to
then
leave.
The fucking Poe shows up.
Oh, shit. Damn.
They show up. And Claire's like, no, you can't take her. You can't take her. She didn't kill her husband. She's innocent. Although Claire actually believes that Galus killed her husband, which, spoiler, Galus killed her fucking husband.
Not the first one.
Oh.
Just say spoiler, not spoiler. If you are fucking listening to this,
you know what?
have read the book.
We haven't done a spoiler section in a while.
Yeah.
We'll do one later. We're not doing one right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Gail's just like, no, fuck no, I'm not leaving my house. And then they come in and they arrest her. And who else do they arrest, Julie?
Claire.
And who's not there to rescue her?
Jamie.
Because
he's gone with Gilf.
And so
they're fucked.
That's a pretty accurate summary.
On the crime of witchcraft, which is how dudes get you.
And also, I really love, they don't recap it anymore, which makes me really sad, but I really love Tom and Lorenzo, who for the first season of Outlander did these beautiful costume recaps, wrote a really wonderful review of the first season and did great things. And they said, as they reviewed the first part of the season, that they didn't understand how no one had accused Claire of being a witch yet. Mm-hmm. And that's only because it hasn't happened yet, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that was always going to happen. This woman who knows how fucking science works was always going to be accused of being a witch. So the next episode, which, by the way, for those who I don't know, weren't social pariahs in high school, by the pricking of my thumbs is the first half of a very famous line from Macbeth, which is, by the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes, which is a line by the second witch, which is the part I got to play in Macbeth, in Shakespeare's Macbeth. And his bloodiest and shortest tragedy. Mm-hmm. So it means, first of all, it invokes witches because it's a witch, and also means that by the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. And in this case, it's fucking Leary and that goddamn priest.
Because the final shot,
Father Bean.
The final shot is Claire and Gillis getting carted away in a wagon, and there's Leary in a
paddy
corner.
Wagon. And then there's Leary in a corner.
Yeah.
There's Leary in a
fucking
spot.
jerk.
Right.
She's the worst.
Losing her religion.
It's horrible. And I don't know.
And smiling. No remorse. Looking real happy.
I don't know if every woman that listens to our podcast really understands what witch trials were about, but I kind of have a feeling that maybe you do.
Yeah, I assume most of you do.
And so you understand that essentially Galis and Claire are fucked. There's no way they can prove their innocence.
That you all know.
There's no way that they can be proven guilty. There's no way to prove it. So they are just assumed to be guilty because they have a vagina.
Here's what I saw Goody Proctor speaking with the devil means. It means either I saw Goody Proctor flirting with my husband, or I saw Goody Proctor being too smart for a woman, or too independent for a woman. This is what I saw Goody Proctor speaking with the devil means. That's what it means. And it's like, that's the number of men who are accused of witchcraft is small, and most of them were not white. Mm-hmm. It's people put witchcraft on people they didn't understand, were threatened by, and hated. And that's why most of them were women. Mm-hmm. I guess I'm mostly glad that we no longer believe in witchcraft as a society.
Do we? Not.
But just fit in SJW.
Yeah.
Or feminist. Or anything else, and you'll get a rough idea in a much smaller scale because now murder is illegal.
Is it?
So, oh, God. Anyway, so Galis and Claire get carted off, leading to one of the best episodes of the series ever.
The next one coming up is my favorite.
If you haven't watched this episode recently and you're listening to us just on the rewatch, go back and watch this next episode again before we talk about it. It's worth it. It's the most thoughtful, compelling. It's in terms of adaptation, it is the best adapted episode of the entire series. Go watch it again. Go watch it. I don't remember what the fuck it's called. The Trial? What is it called?
The Devil's Mark.
The Devil's Mark. Just go watch it. Just go I got to write up this episode for the AV Club for the fake awards. They do it mid-year. And it was best appearance by a birthmark. That was what I got to write up.
Spoiler.
It's a fucking great episode. Just watch it before you listen to the next episode because it is that fucking good. whack.
Yep.
It's like the wedding is that fucking good. This
one is that
fucking good.
Fucking good.
Right?
Yeah.
Like different kinds of fucking.
Yeah.
Let's real quick do the scales because Julie has to get home because she has to do a foot appointment in the morning. Tiny
God.
boot. Littlest boot.
The littlest boot.
So, first, on the costume scale.
Well, Lottie Verbeek is featured in this episode, so we do get to see a little bit more.
Her
And
little gnome hood.
also, we do get a little bit more of Duke of Sandringham, so we get a little bit more
All
costume.
right, so let's do on a scale of like, random BBC Charles Dickens adaptation to quills.
Ooh, maybe not as high as quills. Maybe I'm gonna go like season 1 of Downton Abbey.
Oh, that's real solid. That's real solid. Okay. So 2, now we'll do the sex.
Yeah,
We really only have the one scene to go on, but
it's
hot.
real good though.
Okay, so I'm trying to think of famous scenes of cunnilingus.
There are
and
so few.
I know, I'm coming up dry.
I am coming up dry, man.
So let's go all of the funny sex scenes in Broad City. To, I don't know, your favorite food documentary where you substitute oysters for vagina.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm going to have to actually go with something that I just watched this weekend, which was a ridiculously masturbatory exercise, which was Chris Kimball from the Test Kitchen does this thing where he recreates a 18th century meal by Fanny Farmer. And it was really fun to watch because the chefs had to like go back and do everything on like wood stoves and shit. And they had this oyster course and everybody was very happy about the oysters and it was very pornographic when they ate them. So I will say that, yes, exactly.
that?
Yes,
Great.
that's what I'll say.
Okay, last. Getting up to get a drink scale. This is where I'm most interested because I was thinking about this one beforehand. And if you had asked me in advance where I thought this was on the scale, I would have said low.
I still will say low, but medium low. Like not all the way to the bottom because you don't want to miss Simon Callow moments.
But also, you don't want to miss Dougal freaking out. You don't want to miss any of the gala scenes.
But it still does feel like a setup episode.
Yeah, but I think set up in the way where it's set up you don't want to miss. Like if you're hearing a joke and the punchline is amazing, so you can't miss any of the setup.
I didn't feel like it was that. I watched both of them today and I felt way more like I had to sit through the first one than I felt through the second one.
Then I'm going to go on the low end. Who's got 2 thumbs, speaks limited French, and hasn't cried once today this mois?
So 30 Rock.
No, the joke.
Just the joke. Okay, so we're going joke to joke. Okay.
So ignore the punchline. So low end is who's got 2 thumbs, speaks limited French, and hasn't cried once today.
Okay.
On the high end, David S. Pumpkins.
I'm going to go.
Because with
Can
the
a bitch
punchline-
get a donut?
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for the next episode.
I am too.
It's great. I'm so excited. It's almost like I just woke up and I realized that my Scottish husband is about to eat my pussy for breakfast.
Delicious.
So, real quick, we need to first thank Empirical Brewery. Julie.
Thank you, Empirical Brewery.
Will you
Exploring
tell
the science
them
of
about
beer.
the beer we were
Tonight
drinking?
we were drinking Comet Smash, which means single malt and single hop. The malt, I believe, was a British mild malt, and the hop was a Comet hop.
And it's fucking delicious.
It was really good. It was a light beer and a nice way to finish our evening. Anyway, Empirical Brewery, thank you for your sponsorship.
And what do they do?
They explore the science of beer.
Yes, they do. We also need to thank our Patreon patrons who are donating enough that we are obligated to say their names, but we say their names by choice. In fact, we only don't say the other names because the other people have paid for us to say their names. But we love you all. So we love all of our Patreon patrons, but in particular, Amanda Newton, Beth Locke, fake name Friday Payton, fake name Jenlander Drunklin. After the last episode, where if you reached out to us after that and told us a different name, we haven't received it yet because we recorded this episode on the same day. So we'll get there eventually. And Kathleen Moniz, who, to the best of my knowledge, has still not listened to an episode.
Still not.
We want to thank you. And also everyone who listens to the show and contributes, please find us on Twitter at PodlanderCast, on Facebook at facebook.com/PodlanderCast. And if you want to flash mob Mrs. Fitzgibbons, you can find her at Annette Badland1 using the hashtag Fitzmob. And if you want to tell Janine whether or not Janine in your head looks like Chris Hemsworth in Ghostbusters, you can find Janine at
Twitter, Pagel, Pagel _Aaron, Aaron. Please tell me that I look like someone.
Jeff, for Chris, all he wants for Christmas is Twitter praise.
That's literally all I want.
We'll be back before Christmas. Although, I don't know. For us, it's before Christmas. Who knows what it is before
Who knows?
you? I have no
Holidays
sense of a
are
calendar.
weird. This whole month has been weird. You guys, we're sorry. It's just weird. Everybody knows.
By the time you hear this, Julie will have known whether or not she could take the Lilith boot off her foot for like 2 weeks. So you could, if you just follow her on Twitter. No, you don't say anything on Twitter.
Very rarely.
If you find her on Facebook and friend her, and she will probably say yes because Julie doesn't really understand social media.
No. I'm very selective in my Facebook friending.
Okay. Well, if you send her a Facebook message and say,
Just find me on Twitter and I'll decide whether or not to respond to you.
okay, find her on Twitter at Julie Starby. And tell her about her boot. Find me on Twitter at Allison Chu and tell me about, I don't know, whatever. I'm Allison.
I'm Julie.
That's Janine.
Oh, hey!
And this is Podlander Drunkcast, an Outlander podcast. We will see you not at all because that's not how podcasts work.
That's not how the internet works.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye.